I'd like to call to order the meeting for the Oconee County Board of Zoning Appeals dated Monday, February 24th of 2020. First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes for our last meeting, January 27th, 2020.
So
Minutes are in front of you. You see, we have three of us were here.
There's five of us, huh?
Yeah.
I'll move them.
We're going to approve the minutes?
We'll move the approval.
With a second? Okay, I have one comment. My name needs to be corrected halfway through, goes from COD to COG.
Yes, sir.
I thought that was your brother.
We will change it.
Minor change. So would you amend your motion as amended?
As amended.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Three of us are aye. We have two who were not present last time, so can't vote. Okay, we have an issue with the board calendar. Our secretary-to-be is requesting we set a calendar date for next January, so we aren't kind of lost at the end of December and don't have a date set. And suggesting, yourself here,
27th.
January 25th of 2021.
27th.
Now I'm confusing myself. I definitely confused you on that. I apologize. Let's see here.
I got the wrong date there?
No, if you got the wrong date, it's because of me. Hold on here.
Monday,
It'd
January.
be the 25th. I apologize. I did write the 27th, which is a Wednesday. The 25th would be the appropriate fourth
Okay, that's what I have in
Monday
front of me, is the 25th.
of January. I do apologize.
Oh, there it is, there, okay. Do I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Raise your hand, too. You folks in favor?
Yes.
Go ahead. Okay, motion passes. Come to the main item of business is the variance request for application VA 20-000002, requesting a 9-foot variance from the 10-foot setback requirement for new structures from the rear setback at 735 Conross Creek Road, Seneca, 29678.
Excuse me, you missed an item.
Oh, I did. May I backtrack, please? We do need to elect a secretary. Our previous secretary is unable to attend the meetings. I would take motion for, take a nomination.
May I be recognized,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman? I move that we rescind our appointment of the last meeting and appoint Adam Chapman to be the secretary for the board.
Second.
I'm rescinding the motion.
Is there a problem with that?
Of Bill.
Do we need to rescind the previous appointment?
I hate to do a deep dive into our great big book of knowledge of the 100-odd pages I gave you. I think we can just appoint it without rescinding. We can appoint a new secretary. I think rescinding the motion starts a kind of a domino effect of stuff. I understand your point. Maybe just have it be, appoint a new secretary. That's fine. I'll just rescind it.
Would you like to amend your motion?
I'll amend it to appoint Adam Chapman as the new secretary of the board.
Second.
Any discussion? Any other nominations? Discussion? Okay. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
There are no noes. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your service. Now, get back to item 5 on the agenda. This is I'll repeat, the variance request for application number VA 20-00002, a 9-foot variance from the 10-foot setback requirement for new structures from the rear setback at 735 Conross Creek Road, Seneca, 29678. The TMS number is 293-04-01-008. Mr. Chapman, would you like to
Certainly.
elucidate on this?
The applicant for this property currently has a garage on the property. In applying for a new home, a DHEC septic tank permit is required. Between the septic tank permit, an existing drainage easement off of a state highway, the house they want to build, it can only be located in a certain area on the property, which encroaches into our 10-foot rear setback from the rear property line, or the core line, as it's colloquially known. So they're asking for a 9-foot variance from our 10-foot variance, due to the placement of the drainage easement, placement of septic tank, and the placement of the house they wish to build.
Okay, thank you. Now, I assume we have the applicant here. Would you please step forward, state your name, and state your case, please?
Okay. My name is John Moffett, go by Bobby. We purchased this property a few years back with hopes of retiring down here one day. And as he stated a minute ago, we did build a garage to begin with, just to store a boat and so forth in. And anyway, we both got a job down here about a year ago, and decided rather than waiting on retiring to come down here, we'd go ahead and come down and build us a house now. And the understanding, what we thought is when we saw the 10-foot setbacks and so forth, it referred to neighboring property lines. Was not aware that our understanding was with the core line. When we read the core guidelines, it just says you can come up to the property but not go across the back and not cross the line. Was not really aware that with that just kind of being the core line, that we also had to follow a 10-foot setback that the county has. And we really don't want to build right there, but we have no choice. If you look at the little attachment that I put with my application, you'll see across the road from our property, like a huge field where all the water comes from it, then goes under that state road and through that culvert, and it all comes over onto my property. So when they issued us the septic permit, I think it was back in 2013, 2014, they told us where we had to put our septic tank and that we had to put our house back in that kind of back corner of the property. When you see this right here, we thought we had this great big piece of property that we could build our house on, but instead, right where you see that green roof of the garage, that's the only place we can put it, because that red line represents where all that water across from the state highway, they tunneled it under the road and it comes across our property. So that's the only place we can build the house. We was careful when we put the garage up there that we didn't get on top of our neighbor's house. On down below, there's another garage, if you will. We're nowhere near them. Our only request is can we go ahead and build close to the core property line. My neighbor that you see up on that top corner right there, that's Trey. He wanted to come, he couldn't. He did send a letter that I think they gave each of y'all a copy.
I'll read that into the record when you're done.
Okay. So anyway, he's just indicating in his letter that, he's talked to us about the building plans. He knows what we want to do. It in no way infringes on him or any of the other neighbors. It just puts us close to the core, which my understanding with the core that was okay anyway. So that's what we're asking for permission for. It's just if y'all can allow us, instead of being 10 foot away from the core property line, move it up to within a foot of the core property line. That's what we would like to do if we could, and that way we could build the house that we had desired to build for retirement.
Okay. Does anyone on the board have any questions?
Yeah, one question.
Yes, sir.
It says here that there's lots 8 and 9. Have they been merged together as one lot then, or are they still separate lots?
They have been combined, and that's one of the reasons, when it was for sale, it had them both on the same listing, and we were okay with that, because like I said, we thought we were getting this nice piece of property that we could put the house right in the middle of, and find out we can't do that. So they did combine the two. the number, what would have been number 9, I'm guessing that's why they combined it. They may have known already nobody could build on that property because of that drainage from across the highway.
Thank you.
Mr. Moffett, how far is the core line from the lake shore, approximately? Do you know?
I would say probably 300 feet at least.
Quite a ways.
It is, I think on the aerial view, it kind of gives you a picture of, how far it is. I'm lost.
We are.
Oh, okay, here we are. Here's us, and here's the lake way down here.
Yeah.
All this is a wooded section between us and the lake, and then the core line just kind of runs down through here.
The reason I was asking is because I had always heard, I have no real knowledge of the core, but I had always heard the core line ran 50 feet from the lake, but obviously it goes a lot further, at least in your case.
I don't know why.
So
It
you're
does.
several hundred feet, your house will still be
That's right.
several hundred feet from the water.
Yes, sir, it will.
It's
I mean-
not like you're,
Oh, there's a good picture of it right there. You can see it
Okay,
on that
good.
monitor
Got it.
better than,
If I may, I just grabbed the Google Earth picture and I.
yes, thank you. So it's what, 294 feet, is that what I read there? So you're about 300 feet from the water.
Yeah, it was
That's all,
close.
I was just interested in that. Are there any other questions for Mr. Moffett?
I just
Okay.
thank you in advance
Thank
for letting me,
I assume there's no one here in opposition?
this is my wife, she's all for it.
Want to cover the territory? Okay, thank you, sir. If there's no more questions from the board.
Mr. Connor, you do have the letter.
Yes. Yes, we want to do that now. So I'll read into the record now the letter that you referenced from your neighbor
Okay.
in support. My name is Ford McIver. I'm a resident of Oconee County and owner of 731 Conross Creek Road in Seneca. I'm writing this letter in regards to a request from my neighbor, Mr. Bobby Moffett, who lives at 735 Conross Creek Road, directly adjacent to my property. I'm aware that it is his intention to build his home on his property next to mine, and that he may have to build close to or right up to the core property line. Mr. Bobby is about as good a neighbor as you can get. He takes care of his property, always has it clean and maintained. I have no problem whatsoever with him being able to build his house where he plans to on his property. For any other questions regarding this matter, please feel free to contact me anytime. And he gives his phone number. Sincerely, Ford Anderson McIver III. Okay. Any questions on that letter? And I assume we've received nothing in opposition.
That's correct, sir.
Nothing in opposition. Okay, I think it's time for us to move to consideration. As far as consideration goes, we've had some discussion on, you may sit down, sir. Thank you very much for your presentation. We've had some discussion in the past on whether to consider each of our tests, our criteria individually, or just consider the question as a whole. I asked our secretary to look into that to see if we considered the first criteria, and failed the request because of that criteria, do we need to consider the others? He's come back with a legal opinion saying, hey, it's really right to consider all 4 criteria regardless of how we vote on them. Especially on appeal, for example, legal advice was, if you only consider the first one, and it goes up to appeal, the judge says, there's an error in this, we're going to reject, we're going to find for the plaintiff in this regard, based on the first criteria was not considered properly. But if he goes back then to consider the other 3 criteria that we have no idea how we voted on, he may or may not have found for or against the plaintiff. So it leaves it up in the air, and if you just do the first criteria, you may wind up with a problem on appeal. And there evidently could be other issues. So it doesn't take much longer, so I'd like to make it a kind of a standard procedure for the board that we consider all 4 criteria for a variance, and we consider for a special exception, it's three criteria.
Mr. Chairman, does that imply that we would still have the option of doing each one individually
Well, we do each one individually. That's what I'm saying, we should do each one individually,
and not as a group?
not as a whole.
Oh, okay,
Not-
gotcha.
We may feel real sure, in the past, we felt real sure what we were gonna do on the request, and we said, let's not go through all four, let's just do it as a whole. Doesn't take that much longer, makes the record complete, so I guess I'd like to just proceed on that basis. If are there any issues with that down here? No. Okay, gonna do that. So, let me find my criteria here. Okay, we're gonna consider four criteria, whether your request meets four criteria, and I'll read the criteria individually. First criteria is there are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to the particular piece of property. I take a motion to agree with that.
I would, so moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? I guess my discussion would be that, yes, there are, the drainage across that property certainly restricts its use, and it's certainly an unusual situation on its property. So, all in favor of agreeing with this criteria? Okay, 5 ayes, no noes. Second criteria, these conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity. Have a motion to that effect?
I would, so moved.
Do I hear a second? Okay, any discussion? Again, I'd say this does not seem to be a normal occurrence in the community. There may be others elsewhere, but this particular one looks like it's pretty egregious.
Looks like it's unique to the,
Unique to the property. Third criteria, because of these conditions.
Excuse
the
me,
app-
we have to vote.
Oh, yeah, gotta vote, sorry. Good, can we have a vote on this one? All in favor of the motion? Okay, 5-0. Okay, third criteria, because of these conditions, the application of the ordinance to a particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property. Could I have a motion to that effect?
so moved.
Second.
Second. Okay, any discussion on this particular issue? I guess where I come out, please, John.
I think it follows the other two, that it's unique to this particular property, and that follows that it would apply.
Yes, where I come out, it doesn't prohibit, but it unreasonably restricts the utilization of the property. It just is not reasonable to expect him to deal with that. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? All right, we have 5. The motion passes. D, the authorization of a variance will not be of substantial detriment to the adjacent property or to the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of the variance. A motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? I think it was about, and looked at the property. First of all, as I asked, it's hundreds of feet away from the lake, so we're not talking about kind of lakefront continuity there. And the area is settled in kind of a not throwing stones, a haphazard way. It's not really formally set up as a subdivision. We have this one letter of support from his neighbor, which says no problem. So where I come out is it certainly meets this fourth criteria. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. 5-0. Okay, based on that, the board finds in favor of the request and will grant the variance.
Thank you very
Have I
much.
said that right, Mr. Secretary?
You have, sir, and I'll provide you with the board order tomorrow or the next day, and I'll get it out to them
Okay.
soon.
Thank you very much for coming before us, and we appreciate your interest. I understand you got good interest, but thank you. Did real well. Okay. Marching along, if I can find my agenda. Just a note, our secretary reminds us that we have a continuing education opportunity on May the 4th. Runs from 3:30 to 4:30 right here in council chambers. I think we'd all benefit from this. Do we know the subject, Mr. Secretary?
I do not know, it's part of the required continuing education, so they may work on it between now and then. But as it's going to be here, and they're sandwiched in between another meeting that's gonna be in this room at 5, they won't drag it out forever, and it'll be good, because it's close by, and I can get you all at once versus me trying to grab you all throughout the year. It kind of works, but I'm not sure of the subject, but just fulfills the state mandated continuing education requirements.
So this is being put on by
The Appalachian Council of Governments.
ACOG, okay.
3:30.
Okay,
And food will not be provided.
No, wait.
oh, well, that's something different.
That'll make it go faster too.
Exactly. Because we do have a meeting effort. So if you all, do you think you all will be able to attend that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'll put out an advertisement, because you all have quorum here, although we're not discussing stuff, just for safety's sake. The $20 to put out a legal ad will cover us for that, so I'll go ahead and make that happen.
Okay, you don't need anything from us. Okay, the agenda I have, just a note on member attendance. 2 issues. Number 1, we need to find a representative from District 5. Any progress on that, Adam? Or Mr. Chapman?
That is, generally speaking, that falls up to that council member. It has been put out there to a variety of people. I know Mr. Hart is aware of it. So we are in search of someone from District 5.
How about if I contact Mr. Hart, just to provide a little, as chairman, provide a little impetus to that?
You're certainly welcome to.
Not sure that's worth anything, but I'll give it a shot.
There's also, in the past, people have floated changing up the at-large position in the District 5. They can't find, if we have issues finding people, which we have in the past, using the at-large person, switching up the at-large in District 5 people sometimes, that works. If for a current at-large person lives in District 5, kind of thing.
But you can't have a third at-large
No,
person.
you can't. They would require
Nice try.
a significant amount of paperwork, but other than that, it would be doable. But yeah, so anyone in District 5 is a pretty large area. It goes all the way from Newry to Fairplay.
Right,
So
right.
there's a pretty wide catchment basin. So if y'all know anyone of those.
Yeah, does anyone know anyone in District 5 that might be appropriate?
I gave Mr. Hart my list.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good. Well, they've got a group down there that's very active also in issues around the sewer coming in and expected growth. I'll be able to pull someone out from that group.
I'm going there tomorrow night. I think that
Nobody wants.
I'll put that out there.
Yes, if you would, that would be
I
great.
got a
That'd be
fear
helpful.
tomorrow.
Okay, other than that, member attendance, we only had 4 here last week, and it was 2 to 2. That's kind of like kissing your sister. The motion failed, and I don't think they were very satisfied with that. It was a tie, and the motion failed. So whatever we can do to be here, guys, it sure would be helpful. 5, I think, is a good number.
Well, Bill knew all he had to do was call me. I would come in my painting clothes, but he didn't call me.
Oh, well, we had a quorum. So that's true.
I was in a room, and I'm sorry, I wasn't.
Well, that shows total lack of. I wasn't looking for reasons, I was just,
We could have all gone,
Yeah,
Yes, we
y'all
could
could
have had a
fly
meeting
in,
down
I'd be glad.
okay, is there any old business? Is there any new business? Yes, sir.
the census is among us. April
Friday.
1st is Census Day, and that's no joke. See what I did there? It's a high thought.
Why haven't we
Let's
seen
strike that from the
anybody?
record, we don't need that.
Forms are not anywhere, and I haven't seen anybody out getting addresses or anything this time.
So the addresses, so they've been, our Lisa Simmering and our GIS office has been working with them for close to 2 years verifying addresses.
Okay.
They are doing it. This year, for the first time, it'll be available online. And so what's gonna happen is that you're gonna get a little postcard to your address that says, census is available, do it. And then about 2 weeks after that, you're gonna get another one of the same cards. Hey, nudge, nudge. 2 weeks after that, you're gonna get another card saying, hey, guys, let's go in Little Card. You're gonna get a 4th postcard at the end of April or beginning of May. After that, The census has hired 600 odd workers just for Oconee County to go to all the addresses with the form and say, hey, do this. So the online form's only 10 questions, no more of that long form stuff that I'm sure you all have done at least one time. It's 10 questions. It is, people are like, oh, it's just the government wanting stuff. Well, the census is the sixth line of the Constitution. Comes before the amendments, comes before the freedom of speech. The sixth line of the Constitution is, you all should be counted. Enumerations of the states every 10 years. Also, a think tank did a study on how much the census is worth, the value. So overall, over 10 years to the entire nation, it's worth like $685 billion. I don't know how much money that is. It's just a lot of zeros. I can't do that. But they broke it down by state, by number of people who fill out the census, by grant money, things of that nature. And to a resident of South Carolina, it's worth about $1,200 per person over 10 years. Most of it, the lion's share, is for healthcare. Grants, when people say, oh, we should get a grant for that. Well, a lot of grants are written on census numbers. It's real important. So if I could follow you all, if I could send you all some links to stuff, if y'all do social media at all, or if y'all are part of other social groups or churches, clubs, what have you, if you all would just kind of put the word out there, hey, census coming, could you fill it out? It'll take you 10 minutes. 10 questions, 10 minutes. That's it. We also, as a county, put together a census counts committee. We'll have all the fire stations opened up for people in the rural areas who don't have internet. We will do radio, TV, newspaper spot, not TV, radio, newspaper spots. The census is doing TV spots. We got a lot of involvement from the grassroots. We're looking at the historically undercounted populations, children, minorities. The most counted areas are around Lake Kiwi. The District 1 is the most counted. They got like 95% because they're very into it. The most undercounted, Utica South, a lot of District 5, a lot of District 4.
Utica and Erie's gonna be tough.
So we're working on it. We've got a lot of, for the first time, the federal government isn't funding it as much as they have historically. So a lot of that's put onto the local jurisdictions. So some people thought about it, and like I said, I was like, oh, the census is coming, the government will do something. They're not. So we're doing what we can. We've gotten a nice allotment of money from council, and we appreciate that. And we're going to push to the next 8 weeks or so. So if anybody wants to get involved, has any groups, we're happy to come speak, give stuff, whatever you need, we're here.
These cards that come out, will they have the website, whatever you need to do, get online?
I haven't seen it, but I can only assume so.
Oh, yeah, makes sense, yes, but.
Yeah, I'll just assume they'll do it. But if they come to your door, I don't know that they'll bring the long form. I'm only just gonna scare people and tell them that they will bring the long form. So I'm not 100% sure, but we definitely verified a lot of addresses. Lisa Simmering is a machine, because they were calling her hours a day to verify all the addresses, because, you Google something, it'll be slightly the wrong address, but the US Postal Service has another address. So the census contacts a local jurisdiction for 911 addressing. Like, hey, what's at 123 Smith Street? That's a vacant house. So we got it as a different kind of house. So Lisa in our JS office has been doing this for 2 years now, so they're out there.
And they are gonna do the post office boxes, right?
I don't see them not doing it. Every
They
address
missed
we
it
have.
in 80.
What?
They didn't do them in 80.
I was born in 81.
Okay. Oh, the problems we have.
The youngsters.
Graduated from Senate in
But it will be available online. You won't need the postcard to do the census. It's
Okay.
not some sort of coded thing, so you can go on at any point. It should open, I believe, the middle of March, sometime, let's just say the 16th of March. It should open, and it's 10 minutes. You can go in. They're anticipating the majority of people doing it on their phones, so it's definitely phone friendly.
Yeah, the government's tracking your phones anyway, so
Yeah.
all I gotta do is talk to Alexa.
Yeah, I mean, they already know. Now, I said something in my phone, about something, and then like 60 seconds later on YouTube, hey,
There it is.
I'm sure they're not tracking it. And yeah, that's my new business. Everybody wants to be involved, please let me know.
Thank you, sir. Any other new business? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Stand adjourned.